Hey guys, what's up? Just in the garage again with the 07 4Runner. Today we're going to be putting on some front mud flaps onto the 07 4Runner. These are the same mud flaps, if you remember from a few videos ago, that we put on the rear. We got the Husky Liners Long John mud flaps. Look at these bad boys. They're going to look nice. I have bigger wheels on here. As you know, I have 33s, and so with 33s, you have to take off the stock mud flap. So I'm going to try putting these Long Johns kind of like so, because my wheels are spraying salt, snow all over my truck, and I'm tired of it. So what I'm going to try to do is mod these up so they fit well, and it doesn't take away too much clearance. It's going to take away a bit, I think, but that's just life. And so anyways, I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about this. This might take a few minutes, it might take 2, it might take an hour, who knows. Anyways, let's get started. All right, so first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove all the stock hardware. I'm actually missing one of these bolts, so I'm going to take one from back here. As you can see, there's a bolt there. I'm going to take that one, and I'm going to use that because I'm going to be mounting them with the OEM hardware, so just actually this bolt, and then I'm probably going to use a few screws to poke them in the top of the fender lining here. So what I'm going to do first, remove the bolts. I'm going to remove these little plugs, and then we're going to get to business on just measuring everything up. If I were to leave these in here, it would be offset, which would throw off my measurements and also make it look a little bit weird. So first step, remove your existing hardware. All right, now I am going to take just a blank piece of paper, as you can see, and I'm going to go over the holes, find them on here. I'm just going to punch a rough hole where it is. Boom. That hole is there. I'm just going to take a little screw, put it in super gently, and now, sorry, I'm just going to move the tripod back a tiny bit so I can get in here. I am going to take my screwdriver, look for the next hole, boom, take that in there, and find the hole again. A lot of jokes could be made at this. All right, so as you can see, I have a piece of paper with 2 holes in it. This is going to give me my template for where the bolts are going to need to go through my mud flap. I'm just going to take this off, and then just going to swing the tripod down here. You can see when I'm ready, I now have a template for where I'm going to drill, and so that's going to let me line up my holes on my fender to the holes on the new mud flap. And so I'm just going to figure out my measurements quick, and I'll show you guys what I did to get there. But this is a really easy way to take your fender and your your holes where everything lines up and just transfer it over. So I'm just going to measure some stuff, and I'll be right back. All right, so I just did some measurements, how this is going to fit on the truck. I kind of measured where I wanted the mud flap to go closest to the fender there. And then I just measured where the first bolt hole is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up with where I put my mark here, which is where I want the bolt to go. And I'm just going to drill my holes. I'm going to make sure this is level, and then we should be good to go. So I'm just going to drill my holes and then show you how it's seated. All right, so I made 2 marks here. All I had was my piece of paper on my mud flap. Lined up the first white hole. Because at this right here is a right angle, I can trust that if it's straight, it's going to line up in the right place. So all I'm going to do now is take my drill bit, and I'm going to drill through. I'll even show you guys as I do it here. Line that up, drill straight through. That's good. Pull that out. Next one, straight through, pull that out. And so these are just my guide holes. I'll probably use a little bit of a bigger bit to open them up. And so now I'm just going to check how it fits on the truck, and then I will go from there. If it fits good, I'm going to do the exact same pattern on the other side, knowing that they're uniform. And let's check it out. All right, so just got some help here. We're going to check how it looks on full lock coming towards me. That's really not too bad. It's not actually hitting that too much. Move it back and forth. I think we might be able to get away with that. I think we're going to be okay. All right, I'm just going to tighten these up. Sounds good. So even though it was contacting a little bit, I'm just thinking to myself, as soon as I start flexing this thing, once it's moving, if it's contacting, it can end up ripping off the entire mud flap. So what I'm going to end up actually doing is just trimming it. I'm going to cut a straight line down there. And so hypothetically, it won't contact anything. But yeah, I think it's probably wise to cut it off because I do have the body mount shop behind it. And so every time it's coming even close, it's going to move that. So yeah, I'm just going to chop off half the mud flap. I think there's wisdom in that just because like I said, I don't want it to rub. I don't want it to pull out the bolts and lose a mud flap. That'd be a waste of money. So I'm just going to cut it. That way I'm still protecting my truck from all the overspray. I had the benefits of that. And then I'm going to trim it to the fender line. And so where the body mount chop, it's no longer going to be taken up by the mud flap. I'm going to take this off and drill the other one. And yeah, cut it and we'll see how it looks. All right, so I've gone ahead and trimmed a little bit. I'm going to trim a little bit more because I want it to be flush with my fender so it doesn't get in the way of the body mount chop. All I've done, taken a piece of chalk. I'm going to use my Dremel here with a cutting bit, cut through the rubber, and that should sit flush. As soon as I know these measurements are good, I'm going to duplicate them onto the second mud flap so it's an easy install on the other side. I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on the truck. We'll check for rubbing one more time, and then we should be good to go. All right, guys, I got everything trimmed up here. Quite a bit skinnier, as you can see. Once again, function over form, I think. A little bit skinnier. You still got a little bit of the tire poking out back there, and my cut line's not that straight. But for the most part, we're covering all our splash going onto the body, which is nice. So I have these two mounted here. I just had some extra holes in case I want to extend them or something like that. And then what I'm going to do is just probably put some screws to drill this up top, and that should be pretty good. And so I'm going to take this off just so I can cut the other one the same way, and then I'm going to mount them, and then I'll be done. All right, just finished mounting up the front here. We got it so it comes up nicely to the top, all mounted with the stock hardware, and then I actually put 3 self-tappers in here. Makes it really clean. And so just a reminder, if you're doing this, you can keep it like this. I had to chop it just so it doesn't come into contact with my body mount. The tire can actually still rotate through there, so I'm not rubbing. My fear was if I had it rubbing, it would rub the mud flap right off eventually. And so I trimmed it. Lose a little bit of steez on the looks, but functionality over form. Wait a second. I guess that kind of makes sense. Functionality over fashion, let's say. But anyways, this is going to protect the body of my truck way more. I'm excited. This looks pretty sick. But now I can finally stop getting the salt all up on my truck, which has been bothering me a lot. So yeah, I'm going to put on the other side, but here's it from the front. Looks pretty good. All right, just finished up the driver's side. Same thing as the passenger side. Sits nicely flush. Getting all that coverage. Used the factory bolts, and then I used just 3 self-tapping screws. Honestly, really happy with these. So that's it for today. We got the rears on, and now we got the fronts on. I'll do a quick video outside so you can see what it looks like not in my garage, and that'll be it for today. All right, everybody, just did some driving. Rears working really well. The fronts working super well. I don't have that spray anymore from my wheels. A little bit skinny, just a reminder that's because of the body mount. I can still turn full lock now, which is nice, which is huge, and it's blocking all the spray coming up onto my vehicle. So yeah, overall, well worth it. I like the look. Super sleek, super minimal. Does exactly the job I needed to. So anyways, boys, girls, thank you for watching. If this was helpful, if you're wanting to do this to your own vehicle, let me know how you do it. This is just the way I did it. There's no way to do it perfectly. So anyways, thanks for watching.